Right then, lads, welcome back to the Arsenal Arena. My name is Cossy. We are back again, and in this video, we're going to be discussing the striker role at Arsenal, how much it has changed, how much it is affecting the team, and the argument within the Arsenal hierarchy that they will go and get a striker because Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Lacazette, despite the fact that their contracts are running out, they're also not providing the team with the necessary firepower up front. But of course, the question I have for you in this video, guys, is which striker should Arsenal go for either in January or in the summer? We have been linked with a couple of them, and I'll try to dive into the most linked. Of course, I cannot actually digest all the striker links around because there's so many at the moment at this point in time. But what we'll do is we'll try to look at those players that are really linked with the club and assess their abilities to replace not only Aubameyang and Lacazette, but also feel that hunger, feel that void that is actually being left by these two senior strikers, and the style of the team, which players fit into what Mikel Arteta wants to do and is trying to do at the club. So make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the Arsenal Arena. More videos coming up on this channel. And make sure you subscribe to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. That is my main channel. 34,000 subscribers up there. So make sure you subscribe there as well, so that we are on the same page. On the same page. So let's start off with the argument from as reported by Charles Watts, Goal.com, and Fabrizio Romano. Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, Edu, and all the board do have an agreement that they will go and sign a top striker. Now, at least what we know is Mikel Arteta has told his bosses that he wants to get a top striker. He wants to get in someone who can do the job. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at the moment is our leading talisman. He's our leading goal scorer. We know that. He's the only player we can rely on, and he is really unreliable. So the fact of the matter now is Arsenal do not have a striker you call reliable. Absolutely. We do not. It's not only a striker, but we do not have a goal source. We do not have a goal a source of goals that is reliable. We do not have a player who can give you that crucial goal, who can decide those crucial moments by scoring a crucial goal. Like we had Van Persie, like we had Adebayo, like we had Eduardo da Silva. We no longer have that player. So Aubameyang 2 seasons ago, that was the man. He was your man. Like I said, has never been your man in terms of being the leading talisman. Arsenal, but Aubameyang always has never disappointed. But in the last 1.5 seasons, I'm gonna say, guys, he is really finished. He's finished. At the moment, Arsenal see it, Arteta sees it. The player is absolutely out of his depth. One thing I want to say about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang before we go into the striker rumors and ranks is I think he doesn't believe in the project that Arsenal are doing. It's very different signing a new contract and getting more money because we don't know, on top of the money, we don't know what they told him to stay. We don't know what they told him to convince him to stay. Madrid wanted him, Barca wanted him, a couple of other top clubs wanted him, but we managed to convince him to stay, sign a new deal, but we don't know what they told him. Probably they could have told him that we are going to sign new players around you and probably compete. Make you a top striker by competing. That didn't happen. They went in and brought in a bunch of young kids. For me, Aubameyang looks disinterested. It doesn't look. He looks disconnected from the club. And for me, the reason for me is it looks like he doesn't believe in the project. It doesn't believe in the process that Arsenal build. It's not that kind of player that sits around and believes, yes, this is it. We are, we are Arsenal. We are a young project. I don't see that belief like you see players like Saka and Smith. Well, you don't see that belief in Aubameyang, and you see, it is really affecting his performances on and even off the pitch. I mean, I looked at him on that bench against Everton, and he was really disconnected. He didn't really care. So, like Fabrizio Romano reported, around Lautaro Martinez. Now, what Arsenal want to do is go out there, get in a striker that is going to believe in the project, That is number one. But also the fact that you have a very, very young squad. You need someone who's young, right? So you're not going to sign in a Zlatan Ibrahimovic or a Romelu Lukaku at this point in time, because you want to procrastinate. It's not really procrastinating, but you want to. I could use it as okay. Let's say you want to anticipate that by the time this Project Young Arsenal matures in the next 2-3 years, your striker should be maturing with them. So if you brought in a player who's 28 years of age, by the time these lot of players who are mostly 22, 23, they will be 25, 26, and then your striker will be 32, and then you might need to replace your striker, which is what Arsenal are avoiding at the moment. So we've been looking at a couple of strikers. Let's try to dive into the most important names. Number one, Dusan Blahovic. Now, Blahovic for me fits into the profile of what Arsenal want to do, right? A striker, young striker that fits in the project age-wise, but also that player that has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. His price ceiling is very high. That if you brought him on Arsenal, and then at some point he says, I want to go, if you sign him for 60 million euros, then you can sell him for 80 or 90 million euros. Or if he comes in and then it doesn't work out, and you've signed him for 60 million euros, you could still sell him at 40 million euros, and then he continues with his career. I think that is what Arsenal want. And Blahovic, this year only, 2021, obviously it's coming to an end, but he's played 40 Serie A games and scored 30 Serie A goals. That is mad. That is absolutely mad. Look, the players that I know that have been scoring goals like that for fun, of course we know Messi, Ronaldo, but of course you have the likes of Patson Daka there in Red Bull Salzburg, and then Erling Haaland, both at Dortmund and Red Bull Salzburg. He's been really doing it very well. One thing I love about Dusan Blahovic is the consistency. I love his consistency. Although many experts out there in Italy claim that he's very inconsistent, but when I look at his game, I see a consistent player. I see a player who is willing. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I see a player who's really willing to add something to his career. 30 goals, 40 games. If Arsenal gets such a player, one thing you get is you have a typical striker who can actually make that area in the penalty area that penalty area of the opponent really deadly and really dangerous. I think Arsenal do not have such a player. All the crosses, all the balls that fall into that area are falling into a dead end, and I think Arsenal really do not want that to happen. So Blahovic is one of them. 21 years of age, fits into the project. Maybe the price could be the difference, because again, Fiorentina are looking at around 70, according to Romano, they're looking at around 70 million euros. 70 million euros. And it might not be a problem, but if you look at the other targets around there, you still believe Arsenal will try to go for other players before they commit to getting Dusan Blahovic, and I think that is where Fiorentina will get it wrong. At the moment, how many clubs are going to give you the amount of money you want? In Dusan Blahovic, maybe City, do want a striker, but I don't see many clubs that are going to give you 70 million euros in Dusan Blahovic. So I think it could be a deal between 50 to 70 million euros. And Arsenal, if they get him and it works out, it will be a great signing. But then the other player is Calvert-Lewin, who's believed to be on top of the list. Like most rumors are linking Arsenal with Blahovic, but the strong rumors coming in from the UK are actually suggesting that Arsenal are more interested in signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin over Dusan Blahovic. Now, the thing with Calvert-Lewin, he's not really injury prone like many people want to say. I don't believe in that. But the thing with him and the advantage is he's played in the Premier League. I mean, whether you want to agree or disagree with that, it's always a fact. When a player's played in the Premier League, they've got their own advantages. They've got their own. Look, I don't even want to say advantages, but they have something different, especially if you're signing them for the Premier League. And we've seen it with Arsenal. Ramsdale, bringing in Ramsdale, massive difference. Bringing in Ben White again, massive difference. So the more you sign Premier League proven players, it really speeds up the reaction process. It's because they don't take a lot of time in settling in. That's the good thing. And then the other thing that you have with Premier League proven players is it's like they do not have time. You just buy off that transition period, right? Look, for Calvin Lewin, for me, if he's coming from Everton to a club like Arsenal, there is no transition there. Yes, Arsenal has a big history and things like that. It's a bigger club, way big club than Everton. But at the moment, there is no transition. He's coming from an atmosphere of players like made of Demarai Gray and Townsend and Sigurdsson and Dokore, and then he's just moving into almost a very similar atmosphere. We have Partey, we have Lokonga, we have Odegaard, Smith Rowe. It's so similar, isn't it? Very similar. So again, Arsenal, if they do want to get in Calvin Lewin, they'll have to pay 60 million euros and above. And of course, the report is that Arsenal are more than willing to pay that money to get a top striker. So Calvin Lewin, advantages: yes, he's a prolific goal scorer. He's one deadly lion. In that final third, he's very clinical. But I just don't believe in him as a person. I just don't believe in him. And look, I want to keep my opinion as far away from this video as I can. So, but honestly, Calvin Lewin, target number 2. Would I go with Calvin Lewin or Dusan Blahovic? I think I would go with Vlahovic. With Vlahovic, honestly. But, we wait to see what happens there. That one is a deal not for January, but in summer. Now, talking about players that could join Arsenal in January, in terms of a striker, you have a player called Jonathan David. Now, Jonathan David, again, is a player who will be on the move, confirmed by goal.com. He will be on the move in the summer. And Arsenal are also very interested in getting in Jonathan David. The only thing I know about Jonathan David is he's a Canadian player who's turning into a top striker of recent. If you look at the previous seasons, of course, it's very young again, 21 years of age, so you don't expect 5 seasons back or 6 seasons back to judge him. So we can only judge him based on this season and last season. This season already, 17 games played, and he has already scored 12 goals this season. And last season, played around 35 games, and then he scored around 17 goals. So you can see, again, a young striker that is really progressing. So the difference between, for me between the two is Jonathan David is cheaper. I mean, you just have that. David is cheaper than Blahovic, also cheaper than Calvin Lewin. And I just feel like the numbers of Jonathan David, considering the fact that he's playing at Lille in France, are less attracting to a fan. Maybe because Goal.com claimed that Arsenal have been following this lad for some time, and you never know. I mean, you never know. But for me, in my opinion, I think Arsenal should go for Blahovic again over Jonathan David. And then finally is Alexander Isak, another player that I love to discuss. Isak is one, I was about to say overrated, but I know many Arsenal fans will say, Cossy, you do not know what you're talking about. You can't come out here and say Isak is overrated. Isak is a very good player. That's one thing I'm going to say. But I think he's getting more, should I say publicity? Not really publicity. I think, he's getting more favors than any other player linked with that role at Arsenal. If I look at Calvin Lewin and Blahovic and Jonathan David, again, for me, Isak is just there. He's not above them. He's not way, well decorated, not really. I just feel like he is there, and that's one thing we've got to agree on, upon. He is just there. He's not, he's not way above them, and he's not way below them. He's just there. So Alexander Isak, Swedish player, very talented. Is one thing I'm gonna say. Very talented. Actually, talent-wise, I think is better than all the three. Jonathan David, Blahovic, and Carver. I think is very, very talented. I would look at him as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, not really in terms of scoring goals, because he has not shown us that. But I think in terms of talent, that striker that can really be very, very entertaining and interesting. I think Alexander Isak is there. So I think the good thing with Arsenal is that they have agreed that they will go for a striker, and they will deal with the striker problem at the club. And that is really, really very, very important. So make sure you smash a like on the video, and in the comment box below, let me know which striker will and should sign for Arsenal, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.